You ready to go? Ready to be scoped? What book have you got?
The Martian one. Bye!
Bye! Don't get COVID. The kid is having a colonoscopy. At her age and fitness level and diet and family history, I would argue it's a waste of time. It's certainly been very disruptive to her, and I wish her luck. So what I get to do is I get to wander around for 3 or 4 hours, and then our good neighbour Doug will come and pick us up and drive us home. Good neighbours are important. This is Kitty phoning to be allowed in to have a colonoscopy, which she survived. This is Markham Hospital on the opposite side from the bus shelter, which we'll find out later. The Province and Territory is coming up with its own version of COVID protection, which is not great. This is an unused, not very occupied vaccination centre. Get vaccinated. Markham is in step 3, whatever the heck that means. Step 3, step 4, step 5. If you need help, you can get help online. And of course, your best protection is COVID-19. We have a lot of vaccines not being used. We should be sending them abroad. Even trashy clothes can be sold and sent abroad, and people will pay money for them, even if they then go into landfill. So I found some trail of some description. I've walked for about a mile, so I'm going to pondle along the trail and see where it goes. Birds are happy that they have some trees left between a new development there and a coming new development over there. We keep leaving strips of 20 metres, 30 metres of wild area and building right in between it and right up to it. So there's no actual connection for a lot of the wild areas that we have left. It's better than nothing, but realistically speaking, this whole area south of me should be green. It isn't. It's going to be homes. What a lot of suburban dwellers have got left are parks like this and sports fields. No wildlife here, no wildflowers here. Your best bet is that enough of your neighbours agree with you, provide labour and security, and that you can convert this sort of thing into cropland as fast as you can. Because the rest of the cropland has been devastated by building. I know people need somewhere to live, but this is agricultural land, and once it's paved, and then where are the geese going to eat? Nobody seems to care about them. Nobody seems to care about us. And this is a monument. What's this a monument to, I wonder? The largest sign celebrates fear. Life is grand in the grand. I don't think it is. This is actually what it should be celebrating. The original occupants. And they have a little bell. That would be kind of fun, but I don't think it works. It's kind of a magnificent tower. Of course, there's no stairways to go up it, so you can't look at the burbs. Markham is rapidly urbanising without regard for agriculture, and the house is absolutely ugly. Any forested wild area is going to be chopped down, paved, and made into high-density homes, such as these. Homes used to look like this. They're weatherproofed. Now they look like this, with cars. Army barracks seem to be a popular format these days. Cheap, right? These were all 100-acre farms. This is one of the original farmhouses that they actually kept, and the 100 acres around them have been changed enormously. The Resner family were here in 1840, much like Kitty's family. They took a lot. And they built homes. They built homes that were cool in the summer and warm in the winter. They used ideas that worked. They used materials to hand. What we do now is we ignore these principles and pretend to copy them partially. But this type of house is absolutely wonderful. If you buy a house in Canada without a wood stove or a chimney, you're absolutely out of your tiny little mind. And yet that's what everybody is buying and spending millions. Destroying the wild areas. Now we have storm drains, not ponds. Houses with chimneys boarded up, ready to be removed. And replaced, of course, with army barracks, high density living. But it isn't really that high density. Mostly they'll use cars, but they're building a huge bus terminal for them. And that's it over there. Millions of dollars of bus terminal. Well, let's do some trespassing, eh? Having removed nature, they then replant nature in something like this, a concrete tomb. Yep, that's the bus terminal, and it's going to be an impressive structure. Of course it's greenwashing, most people are going to use cars, and if they hadn't built the houses here you wouldn't need the bus terminal. So greening after we develop, which means destruction, isn't not actually very green, is it? I don't know what we're going to do in the future. Building to supply the needs of new residents, not original residents. That's what we're doing. We're expanding like crazy, like there is no limit to our expansion. Even worse, of course, when you build something like this, most of the customers will be poor and using the hospital. And of course it's a good idea to build this right next to the hospital so they can enter it. But hang on a minute. Oh yeah, that's the emergency department. So most people get off this bus terminal are going to have to walk right around this building through a car park without sidewalks to actually get to the outpatients clinics. The amount of resources and material put into something like this is great, but if they built these next to all of the major highway intersections and put in free or cheap car parking there and ran dedicated tram lines down the highways, that actually would be an effective way of getting rid of greenhouse gas emissions and also making people's transit more humane. But no, we build them in the middle of nowhere. The only wildlife now is migratory. Nothing else really survives. It's terrible what we're doing to the landscape. It's terrible what we're doing to our agricultural ability to feed ourselves. Cars and roads everywhere and no pedestrians. Getting ready to fly south for the winter. Gathering early this year, which is always a bad sign for winter. Take note of signs like this. In SHTF you really don't want to be near these things, and you want to see things like this and you want to know how to turn it on and how to turn it off. In SHTF, get out there quick, turn these off. This was a Wolfie Terrier in the Dark production 2021.